Interesting point. Let's go ahead and take another look at this. So for some context, this is a side conversation that started from my video on how changing the NFL draft could affect league parity. And this spawned a separate video on which of the 5 major sports leagues has the most parity. And a further quick recap, here are the results. This is from 1996 to now, because 1996 is when MLS started. The big takeaway being that the NFL is pretty much middle of the pack. I was having a conversation with my dad about this, and he brought up the same point this comment brought up, which is that over these 26 years in the NFL, there was a certain Thomas Jeffrey Matthew Brady that dominated the league for 22 of those 26 years and ruined pretty much whatever parity the NFL had. And as of yesterday, still is. So I was like, okay, fair enough. So at what point should we start looking at league parity? We agreed 1970 was a good starting point because that's when the NBA merger happened and a lot of the teams that we now know in various leagues exist as they are today. So here's a list of every team that has appeared in a championship in their respective sport. Every team above the line has won. Every team below has appeared in the championship game but has yet to win it. It's kind of hard to read, but go ahead and pause to read. But anyway, here is the zoomed in shot of all of it. So yeah, the NFL, even then, still falls pretty middle of the pack.
But wait, just the year before in 1969, the Jets won their one and only championship.
And that's true. And even if I were to grant that, the NFL would then be at 19 and 25. They'd be tied verbatim with the NHL. So long story short, no, I do not believe that changing up the NFL draft will make the NFL any more or less paritious. Even if you change the NFL draft, I still think the NFL will have the same amount of parity as it does now. I think it'll be more so in the NBA, but about on par with the NHL. However, there is one part of this that actually really surprised me, and I was wrong based on my previous comments. My previous comment was that the salary cap had a lot to do with parity, and baseball, which barely has a salary cap, has the most parity. Of the 30 teams in the league, all but one of them have appeared in the World Series since 1970. Sorry, Seattle. But with the expanded playoffs in baseball this year, you never know. The Mariners could get there, and it'll be 30 for 30. Worthy of a 30 for 30. So anyway, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of those numbers? Did everything pretty much turn out the way you thought? Did anything take you by surprise like baseball did with me? Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are, and go ahead and like and follow. I put a lot of work into creating these graphs and cool things like that, so please feel free to stick around. I'd love to have more conversations with you. Go Mariners!